Hey, hey,
Hello. Good morning from the country of rising sun.
good morning, good morning. It definitely looked like a great sunrise there. Is it pretty humid there normally?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's a tropical climate, so yes, kind of time before sunrise. I guess that's the only time you can really enjoy the weather.
Yeah. So, tonight we will be speaking with Raf 3D, waiting for him to come up here. Um, both he and myself, and I also reached out to Sean Young. Unfortunately, he already had obligations and couldn't make it, but a few of us, we started in some early platforms like Second Life quite a long time ago. So you had mentioned this topic, and I've always thought that a lot of these platforms that have been around for a while, if they're still around, and also if they're not still around, what are those mistakes that they made? And what are the things that they might be doing right to stick around, and hopefully we can propagate some of that information upstream to a lot of the platforms that we're building on now, as builders kind of help ensure the continuity, so to speak, and um,
Well,
make everything better.
I'd say it's always a good idea to learn from someone who came before us. I mean, we great learners who love to go to every existing platform and see what people are doing there and find out about all the best practices and what keeps them afloat or what makes them successful. So, Second Life, I think, is one of the first OG metaverse out there. I unfortunately never went to this platform, but I never went to Decentraland either. So, I always talk to people who did that. So I'm kind of learning in this way because I mean there's only so much time in the day, and most of it this time is dedicated to Unity in my life. So it could be really great to learn something from OG creators, which actually who actually were building the metaverse already, even before we started doing that. You know.
Absolutely, and some of welcome, Ralph. I just sent you an invite, brother. Hope you can see that. Um, Anybody that would like to speak, I think we now have a desktop version. If that makes it easier for you, you should be able to now speak on a desktop version. And by all means, if anybody would like to come up, if you've built in previous platforms like AltSpace, hey Metaverse Josh, speaking of AltSpace, if you'd love to come up and tell us what you liked about those platforms, and how you think we can bring some of that information forth, and make the current platforms better. Sorry, I'm just trying to
I have
get
a
through all the
request
questions.
from Raf, but I can't approve somewhat. Okay, it seems to be working now.
Oh, it's work, I guess, right?
Hi,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How about you guys?
We are, as usual, super busy, but making time for everything we
Yeah,
can.
I know. I feel the same. So what
So,
was the question? Sorry, I.
no, there was no question. We just like starting off the space, and we were talking about that, the fact that there were, though many people jumped on the thing called metaverse, quote unquote, for like few years
Mhm,
ago. Actually, there are creators out there like you and like Josh
mhm.
who were in this like for more than 10 years, and we'd like to learn from you guys, and find out all the best practices from Second Life, because as long as I know, it's still, though it is not very much like in the social media and stuff, it is still very popular platform. It has like 40,000 concurrent users even now.
Mhm.
Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people in Second Life love. I mean, as a creator that sells stuff over there in the platform, I have the whole social media for my business. Like something like I could do in the same on the real life, but I do for Second Life. And in Instagram, you can reach a bunch of fake profiles, but that is people from Second Life. They have like a social life as well, and that is.
So for how many years you've been doing that?
I start in the same time than Josh, I guess, in 2007 when I was a kiddo. I started to play Second Life with 15 years old, and now I am 32, so it's 16 years already, I guess. Yeah,
Wow, that's incredible. You've been living in Metaverse for 50, for how long? 15 years?
16, 16.
Goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
yeah,
Wow,
too much.
16 years. That is, you are super experienced, I guess. I mean, now a lot of platforms like Spatial, like VR Chat, they only now start discovering, oh, we need a marketplace.
Yeah,
And you've been doing it already for half of your life,
yeah.
that is like, and especially when a lot of platforms saying, uh, oh, we're gonna have a marketplace, and they speak about it like it's a huge innovation. I mean, that's kind of funny, right? Especially for you
hmm
guys,
Yeah, I think
like selling digital
I
assets and
think a
stuff.
marketplace could be something that brings value for builders on spatial as well. Because in Second Life, I mean, I was paying all my bills with Second Life. I buy many stuff off my house from the Second Life, from the money that I made with Second Life. I quit my job to dive into Second Life to sell my stuff there, my assets, and all creations that I made there. But also I know a few things that I can do that I can do in Second Life, like scripts by myself. But in Unity is a nightmare. It's like Japanese to me. I can't. Visual script is too much.
Well, I have two questions actually. So I'll ask the first one. What do you do on Second Life? What do people do on Second Life?
Well, for many years I just play as a normal player, and then I see many friends are just start to make money, and I just think, oh, I always be a builder, on Second Life. I love it to spend my time there building stuff, making stuff happen, and but also there is a bunch of role playing cities. I mean, that's like a huge cities, like more than 15 regions altogether, and people just building like a city with fire department, police, hospital, and I have these role playing shit happening on also. But and then I see that I was a good market for like build stuff for role playing, and I started to make some accessories like some backdrops. It's like a scenario for people take photos and make some videos, and I started to do many stuff like cars, planes, helicopters, and just started to sell, and
So role play is a big thing in Second Life,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, because I know about
Mhm.
VR chat and Roblox is all about role playing
hmm
most of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I think it's the most. I mean, is that where I have most people doing stuff on Second Life, and then um, some users create like role play systems that show the health bar, show when you is hungry or stuff like that, and it's a game made by the users of the platform. I think it's more or less we are trying to do on the spatial. It's user by user. It's made by
Oh,
user the game.
how do you build on Second Life?
Well, in the beginning, I just started to drop some boxes like we did on Blender. They have a own build system on the game that you can just build stuff with primitives over there. But in 2013, I guess the mesh comes, and now anyone is able to upload 3D stuff for Second Life, and is when was the game changer, because the things are it's more realistic than before, but also it's a little bit heavy sometimes because some creators just bring a lot of high polish shit and make a laggy for everyone.
Yeah, we all know that this is the problem. High polish sheet is always the
Yeah,
problem on
yeah,
this
yeah.
platform.
But I mean, it's a good way for leave. I was just working in Second Life. Then when I start my business there, I just log to do my shit and put on the store and go out to play like PS4 or something. Now Second Life is
Oh,
just a job. I don't wanna play anymore because it's already too many years. So I'm like tired of be playing around. I just like to build my stuff to try make some money and then I go out.
no, I have a question also. Like Second Life,
Mhm.
it has some kind of a strange reputation, at least right now, because I heard people go there a lot for ERP, which is erotic role play.
Mhm.
Is that true?
Yeah, that is a fucking deep web going on Second Life. That is a. I mean, it's a very sexual game. The avatars. And also that is a good market to make like erotic stuff or adult items. It's great to make money as well, because these pivots spend a lot.
Do 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 brands go there or not much nowadays?
What? See again.
Do brands go
Yeah,
there?
in a time ago, Second Life was hype, as special it is in these days, I guess. Like in 2007, a bunch of brands was getting in the Second Life, but I think Second Life was too far from the time, and when they do that, was hype for some years, and then just you don't see many brands like Nike or I don't know Balenciaga or whatever on the Second Life, and also there is some creators that started to do like clothes and products that they try to make something based on the real one, but also you have the copyright problems, and some people doesn't give a fuck, they just use the brand mark, the copyrighted stuff, and made the money as well. But I'm not that kind of person. I just tried to create my own brand on the Second Life as I put half 3D on spatial. Me in Second Life is Prisma, so I put my logo on every stuff that I do, based on the real life stuff, but you know, 100% authentic. I mean, I model everything. I don't use like 3D from Sketchfab or something like that. And
Yeah, that is actually a good idea to
mhm,
do everything from scratch
yeah,
and create
yeah.
your own brand and establish it.
Hmm.
So you are the person who successfully made money of digital assets for like way before than many people started it
Hmm.
doing here on Spatial, I
Yeah.
suppose, or other platforms. Or how do do you have any like a blueprint kind of thing? How do you become successful asset creator on the
Well,
marketplace?
in Second Life, I can say that I am a small fish. I have people making more than $7,000 by month. I think maybe 1,000 only, but there is a bunch of creators there that make a lot of money. I mean a lot of money. Like can pay a BMW or something like that. It's crazy. And also the cloth marketing, the fashion marketing is where the make more money, I guess. The clothes creator that make a lot of money there. But I just began. My blueprint it was like just try to focus in this area that I choose. That is to make like role playing stuff or interactive stuff, and then I just um, start to apply because in Second Life we have these monthly events that you can pay for participate, and you have like a stand there that you can put your stuff and live there selling all the month, like in real life. But
Yeah, I've seen. We went with Josh and Space Joe to VR Chat, and they have like a yearly fair, which calls
mhm,
VCAT, and people have their booth
mhm,
there, and you can like go and check out their assets, and maybe you can buy like directly from there.
mhm,
VR Chat doesn't have marketplace right now yet. I mean, they didn't launch it yet. But they have the same kind of system that like people putting their QR codes and they're putting their links where you can actually go and buy their stuff. So is it something like this in Second Life?
yeah, yeah. You have a whole marketplace that where you can find anything you want to, start doing stuff in Second Life. You can buy scripts, you can buy full permission, like full permission. You can use a copy and transfer the the mesh, because also when we sell stuff there, we can set some permissions on the item. So if you buy something that I did in my shop, you can't transfer for anyone. But if I put transfer permission, you can do it. But you can choose the
So
permission.
basically, let me interrupt you and
Mhm,
just to ask. So basically, you buy digital asset, then if you feel like giving it to someone else, and if it is transferable,
mhm.
you can do it in game, right? Just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
handover.
yeah,
Oh, that's great,
yeah.
actually.
Also, there is
That
a
sounds like
guy. There
fun.
is a guy that's called Casper, and he created uh, automated system for you check all the sales, who buy your stuff, how many items you already sold, and it's something made by a user. Then the Linden Lab, the company that creates Second Life, bought the system to upgrade to build in the Second Life system. So is I mean, it's something that Spatial Code do it for helping anyone here that build stuff and wanna sell or share. Like we could just to buy a visual scripts. I don't know how to do it, but if you have something done in the marketplace, just for buy, I just code buy and make it happen. You know what I mean, something like that. If you guys want to check, is just type on Google search or the browser that you use, like Second Life Marketplace. You're gonna see a bunch of items, kind of items.
Well, when I type Second Life and go to Marketplace, it show me something not family friendly.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bunch. It's a
That's the
bunch.
reason I was like, oh no, I can't open it in front of my kid. I remember Josh
Yeah,
sent me some link to the Marketplace, and I like literally opened it in front of my daughter. I'm like, oh no, Josh, what are you doing?
yeah. You can
So,
you can choose the maturity when you are searching on marketplace, but is a bunch of crazy stuff there.
but
Yeah,
the game is still popular, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. It's
numbers
it's like
numbers are there.
it's like 10 millions. We were talking about that today. It's 10 millions by month, but online is like 40,000, 45,000 people by day.
Well, that's way more than a lot of platforms. That most of the platforms have
Hmm.
currently. It's like way, way more.
And it's already 20 years. It's crazy. Maybe infinity. I don't know.
Josh, maybe you can explain a little how do you really script the gameplay on Second Life, because it still stays unclear to me a little bit. It's not Unity, right?
No, they have a scripting engine, which is basically you can write what's pretty close to like a C or C sharp directly in a script. Um, Items can have as many scripts as you want, and Raf kind of touched on this with the 18 plus permissions in the mod transfer, but everything in there is very granular. So you have a lot of different options about how scripts can talk to each other, and interact with what's called linked objects. So you could link several objects together, and then any of those scripts within those objects can talk to each other. And um, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll set those permissions for the object as modifiable, and the scripts as non-modifiable, so people can keep their scripts hidden. And all of this is on the choice of the creator. And then they can, I mean, you literally just drag and drop an item onto another avatar, and you get a prompt that comes up. So and so would like to give you an item. You say yes, and it's in your inventory. And you can do that with scripts too. And that's one of the things that I think, as Ralph touched on, is this this open community of sharing objects and making it really easy to share objects and scripts within the game. I think is one of the things that really allowed it to take off, because you are going to always have, no matter what the platform, you're going to have people that can either script and can't build, or vice versa. And you need a creator economy sort of happening within the game, for these things to be openly shared, so people can bring a project to fruition even if they don't have a certain skill set in one area. So it's certainly the way that they do scripts there, which is very, very open. You can basically write whatever kind of code you want, or you can go and just copy and paste somebody's code, and just drop it right into your script, and modify it, or whatnot. So it's something that I think other platforms could do pretty easily, if they opened up, say, a script editor, where you can click on an object, and just click modify script, and just tinker with it a little bit, and then you just click save, and it's immediately active with those changes within the object. So pretty cool.
Can you give an example of a dragging and dropping script on another user? Like what happened? What like example of what might happen?
Well, it's just an inventory item until you put into an object, and that can of course react with that object, and in however way you deem. But they have an inventory system where it's organized kind of like a digital suitcase, and you have categories of body parts, clothing, scripts. So you can just go into your inventory, grab a script, and drop it on an avatar. And if they have copy permission, and you can give somebody a non-copy permission or a non-modify permission script too, that they can't see but they can use. So you literally just go into your inventory, and drag it onto another avatar, or you can go in their social media system, DM somebody, hey, I'm sending you the script I'm working on, and boom, it's immediately in that person's inventory. So just the free flowing of how objects are shared there, I think is one of the things that makes it super powerful.
It feels like it's way more interactive than we see on other platforms. But I also have a question. Does the Second Life actually like looking into the future right now? Are they gonna go? I mean, like all the platforms, they look into mobile. I mean, VRChat just released their Android app, so people can play VRChat on Android if they're subscribers. Spatial had their app forever, and does Second Life look into making themselves mobile or VR? I mean, if you know, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead, Raf.
Second Life is making a mobile version. I think after 20 years old, they just think, oh, maybe we have make some changes, to be more accessible. And also, I mean, in Second Life, we don't have like PBR materials like on Unity, and they are implementing this to the next massive upgrade. And things in Second Life already, have a great looking, but when they do that, I think will be amazing, because if you see something in Second Life in these days, I mean, if you go in some places, of course there is a bunch of trash places there, and like I was speaking that with Meta Mike last night, because if you don't go in the right places, you're gonna see just like 2D stuff, like just an image in a box, but also there is a bunch of height detailed stuff going on. And when they bring the PBR materials, I think it will look like I know, like a render, or something like that.
So one of the things that Second Life really suffered for, or from rather, was being first, or being one of the first. So they had to create everything from scratch as far as like, the avatar mechanics and just on a technical level how it worked, because of course it was pretty much pre any kind of WebGL or anything like that. So basically what they're having to do now is sort of rip out the guts of some of that stuff in order to rework how things are rendered. For example, Raf mentioned 15 regions, and for those of you building in spatial and other platforms, kind of how that works is you do have different spaces that you can set right next to each other on a grid coordinate system. And you can literally walk right in from one space to another. So you can have all these spaces put right up next to each other. And it still does what's called hypergrid transport, but all of that happens seamlessly. So they're busy trying to figure out how to keep all of this stuff that they've basically invented to work with some of the standards that are available now. And as you said, it was what 2013. You said that they introduced Collada Mesh. So they're slow going with it, but we do recently have the CEO Philip Rosedale, who is now returning back to the company after developing an open source metaverse platform, and they're like, we need your help, dude. So they're pulling him back in there to try and do some of this stuff to release the mobile component, release VR as well, because they were a little bit too early for VR.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
something that I forget to sell. The LinkedIn Lab, the company that creates Second Life, was the creator of Sansar. The metaverse Sansar was made by LinkedIn Lab, but I think after they created, was supposed to be something for VR users, and some people from Second Life doesn't understand very well, and they just I think not work for LinkedIn Lab, and they just sold for another company that runs in these days.
Why were you looking at other platforms as well, and why? And I know you build on spatial, so what made you come to spatial to build? Wha- And why did you choose spatial like over places like Roblox or some other ones?
I choose spatial because I like this aesthetic, but also I was a little bit tired of the Second Life community because the people there are very toxic. I
Well,
have to
I can
tell.
say I can say that about every community.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
I spent
many people.
16 years there. But I just was trying to find a new horizons. And last year I just find spatial because I was very curious about this this thing that I heard too much, metaverse, 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 and I was already in the Second Life. I was like, what the fuck is that? Let's see what it is. And I in the first days I just see the horizon, but I saw also that is not yet in Brazil. I guess I'm not sure. Maybe it's already, but Horizon is just for VR users, right? So I was like, I can play that shit. But also, I doesn't like his Horizon aesthetic. I mean, no legs. I mean, what the fuck? No legs,
No,
really.
no legs. That is very strange. I mean, like
Yeah,
by now everybody have them. What
but
the hell, Meta?
something that I like on spatial is because for me it's more simple to make stuff and more faster. And also I wanna be on the Web3 metaverse and all that shit. And it's already
Well,
trying
we
to
can't
bring
say that
it.
spatial is Web3 in not any way. It's highly centralized and
Yeah,
now with their
yeah.
own coin. So
After,
this
yeah,
is not
yeah.
Web3 for sure.
After we start to play in spatial, like one year already, we can see enough to say they are not decentralized, right?
Well, do we really need to decentralize now anything? I'm
Mhm.
having a doubt that this system really works, and I don't know when it will start really working. Web3. So far, everything which is making its way to the world and becoming successful, it's kind of centralized. It's not even kind of; it's actually centralized. Hi, Metaverse Josh. How you doing? Long time
Hey,
in speak.
yeah, it's been a while. I've been really, really busy, but not with fun stuff. So, um, I've had to pick and choose when I have time to get on video games, and spatial's been something that I've looked forward to coming back to once I get my life kind of back to normal. So, have you been looking at any of my
I'm
posts?
actually interested to ask you about another question, about another thing. You are building somewhere else, isn't it?
No, no, I actually I haven't built anything in a while because I've just been really busy. That's kind of the whole point. I'm kind of really looking forward to coming back.
Didn't you write something about arcade VR or something like this on Twitter? I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
we're watching you. We're watching
Arcade
you
Legend,
guys.
yeah, that's just a VR game. It's not like a metaverse or anything. It'd be cool if it turned into something like that one day, but it's just a really cool multiplayer VR game. And so I mean, I'll just cut to the chase. Like I'm a nerd and I really like arcade games. So I was watching this one when it was in beta and I was, participating in all that. It's just a really fun game. You can make your own like custom arcade. Your friends can come to it.
So
It's a really
is it UGC or not?
is it what?
UGC, user generated content.
Oh, no, 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 no. It's all centralized stuff. It's their game.
Okay, okay. So I was thinking you gonna tell us about some new exciting platform where we can possibly look at.
Oh, I mean, it's a cool game. If you want to check out a new VR game, I would highly suggest it. What's fun about it is if you like building, right? Like that's kind of what's confusing about it. It's a building game too because you have to make your own arcade. Everything about it you can customize the floors, the walls, like the wallpaper, where your games are, like what games you have, your furniture, everything is like up to you. And then so you and your friends can play in it. You get tickets, and they use the tickets to unlock the cosmetic stuff. Like the hats and the different shirts and all that stuff.
Well, it sounds like user generated content still, like something like Horizons, where you can build inside the game, but you can't really take anything out if you want.
It's not that robust. Like I mean, really, it's like you can pick a machine and you can place it somewhere. So I wouldn't call it like a building game at all. Everybody's got the same shape room, and but what you get to customize is where you put the stuff, but you don't get to make any of this stuff. You could change colors on it and stuff like that, a few things like that, but I wouldn't call it user generated content. You can pick from all of their stuff and place it where you want, but not like shapes, like just already built games and stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like what was your first platform where you can create your own content? Actually, is it like was it spatial or was there something before that?
No, So I was really into alt space VR. That was like the first
All
real
right, I keep
metaverse I got
forgetting that.
into.
Sorry.
So outside of VR, of course, I got into some other stuff, but like the first VR metaverse I got into is going to be alt space, and I did events there. I built a ton of stuff, and I was really getting to the point where I was comfortable, making stuff in there, in Unity and all, and I was getting to know everybody. And then Microsoft just ripped the whole thing out. I only got to enjoy it for less than a year, and there were people that had been there for a long, long time before that, and people who were making a living off of their custom content. Seriously, there was one guy in there. He went by Ryu, I think, for short, and he made like most of the custom clothing. And this guy was backed up for months. Like he was making bank doing this, and then like Microsoft killed it. I don't know what he did after that, but um it just really was like a fledgling, really nice, like honestly, and I love spatial, so I hope they don't like get mad for me saying this, but like alt space, rightfully so.
You the point of the space, like we're having every week, is to being able
Mhm.
to say whatever you want about any platform.
Okay. Well, I'll say this, like, alt space VR was, in my opinion, and I know there's VR chat, and I tried it, but alt space was like to me, the most user friendly, like easy to jump into VR metaverse platform. It was very easy for people who didn't really know a whole lot to get in and partake in an event, customize their character, world hop and all that stuff. It didn't take much of learning at all. And then if you wanted to create, that was a very small step further than that. So VR chat, while it's worlds beyond that, more complicated as far as what you can do with it, but because it's more complicated, it there is a learning curve.
Oh,
And so I
VR
would
chat is
just,
super complicated. I mean,
yeah,
sometimes I'm just looking at what people build there, and I'm like, what the hell? How is it even possible? But
right.
that's the whole point, I guess. At some point, we just decided, or we want to be among like people who are highly skilled because we want to learn and move forward. So yeah, we are not trying. I mean, we're building something on VR chat right now, but we are highly occupied with all our commercial stuff, so it's going to take some time. So like that was the reason why you didn't come to VR chat to build, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, I would love for to get into that one day. I really like VR chat as far as like what, the possibilities of what you can do. It looks to me like a VR version of like Gary's mod, if you remember that kind of stuff back in the day.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, to me, like I'm looking forward to getting into that, but my life's been so crazy upside down right now. Like my just a sneak peek into my personal life. So I've had my kitchen torn up for like the last month and a half. I don't have, like, my fridge is across the room. I don't have a sink. I don't have a dishwasher. I don't have an oven, like nothing. I've been grilling outside for weeks, and
Oh,
I'm
that's
exhausted.
that sounds like you have a lot of grass touching to do nowadays.
Yeah, so I guess once my life gets back to normal, then trust me, I'm coming back. I'm going to be building it all over the place. And I'm getting back into the VR game scene. That's really, spatial was kind of my, like, me dipping my toes into the flat screen stuff again. But I'm like, no, I really want to get back into VR, and I hope that spatial does level up their VR game soon, because I think it does have a huge potential as a cross-platform, uh, software to be one of the leaders. I think two things they need. They need a PC VR client. So
Oh, they
just like,
had that.
do they
They
have
had
that now?
PCVR client. They had it on Steam. I remember that in very early days. But then somehow, I mean, in the early days, we were like all using PCVR, and we went to Spatial, I think, through the PCVR client, and then it disappeared, and the Spatial only stayed on Oculus Store. I mean, there's a lot of limitations for like Oculus games because it's Android. It's basically like mobile VR, right? So there is a lot of limitation there. It's far not that pretty as we get to see things on PC VR and VR chat, but they do have a lot of potential. I mean, spatial, what the fuck? We
I
need
Yeah,
think
I,
I
VR. We
I
want
agree with
VR.
the potential. I mean, we were talking the other day. Tyrone, I think he said the latest numbers are just under 10% for VR users on Spatial, but
They're gonna be dropping if they're not gonna be updating their VR client.
That
Most of
yeah,
the
that's not a
places you
good
go right
metric.
now,
well,
they
I
yeah,
don't
think
do
more
and
people
anything.
would use it if it was good. Like I promise you,
exactly.
if the
Yep.
experience was as good as AltSpace, everyone would be doing VR every chance they get. But there's so even in that vein, I'll say this: like the Quest version of AltSpace VR versus the PC, like the Steam version or the Quest Rift version or whatever, night and day difference. So when you're a builder, you have to take that into consideration. But also as a user, if you want to get the best experience, going into it, like, hey, I don't want to use the Quest version. I want to use this version. They got to understand all that and build towards that. If they want people to focus on their VR, it's got to be something worth focusing on. So while I love Spatial, I'll say like that's where it's lacking for me as a primary VR gamer. Like it's missing that big for me, but I also see the potential, and that's why I don't like just say I give up on them or whatever. Like I really like Spatial and I like the community. That's
Oh
another thing.
no, we don't give up. We keep hoping that everyone, like every platform which we are building on, definitely will get there.
For
Because
sure.
It's just
we
a
have it
matter of.
becoming this gaming platform, right? And we see where all the gamers, the younger generation, they're in Roblox, right? And with Roblox coming on to Quest, we had like I think 1 million people have started using it already, and those are kids. So I mean, if we're
Oh,
going to
my
be
friend, no, that those are not kids. Recently, I went. I don't know. CC goes to Roblox here, so she probably knows. There's this world called Salon de Fiesta, and like the only what people do there when they come there, they start dancing with each other, and there's a lot of synchronized dances going on, and there's very cool music playing there, and it's like you can a request for a song, and it's gonna. I mean, it was being viral for 2 or 3 weeks by now. Like everywhere on TikTok, you can see this game, and like everybody's dancing together, and there's a lot of situations where it's really fun, really fun. I went there. It was so funny. I mean, like me and Space Joe, we stayed there for like 1.5 hours, just one world. It's like you go through Spatial, you rarely stay somewhere for that long time. And it was just one game, and we stayed there. So, and like what I was saying, there was no kids there. I mean, maybe there was some, but people, they were talking to each other in chat, and they were adults. And also adults doing the shit. They like to go and dance just because it's fun.
That's another thing. You know what's with Spatial? It's unlike Rec Room and all those others. And Alt Space wasn't like they had no kids. And I love my kids, right? But everybody else's kids, I don't think so. Like I can't do it. I mean, my kids, I love them. Your kids, forget it, man. Like that ain't me. So look, the platforms that like keep the kids off, like 18 or higher, that's what I'm looking for. Not for like adult stuff. Just simply put, I don't want kids screaming in my ear when I'm wearing a VR headset. That's it.
Well, you can always block them. Yeah, there's a kid situation going on quite everywhere, including, by the way, Spatial, though they don't allow kids, but kids actually come there as well and do some crazy shit sometimes. And you don't even realize those are kids, and then like, why this person is bullying me? Why this person won't leave me alone? Are they fucking crazy? But actually, this is just a kid.
well, and that's also where we have the the issue with as far as like not wanting to mingle for the grooming issues that Roblox has had and stuff like that. And as Raph mentioned, we have this platform that has had 18 plus spaces specifically granularly selected by the creator. And I think if Roblox starts to have more and more adults, they're either going to have to um, do something like that, or like Second Life, they have a teen grid, which is kind of a different. It's the same game for teens. So maybe that's something that places like Spatial could do, is implement like a payment on file. You're 18 or something like that.
Well, as far as Roblox goes, if you look at YouTube or Twitch, every streamer from Roblox there is adult. I mean, they are at least in their 20s. Maybe they've been playing this game also since their childhood. I don't know, and they have. And they got stuck in there, but those people doing pretty well. They stream, and all the kids in the world watch their streams. You know, they watch their YouTube videos, they watch their funny content. So adults actually feeling pretty comfortable in Roblox, and especially if it comes to making money off the marketplace. They're feeling very comfortable, and there's a lot of gaming studios which actually were born on Roblox, and they are super successful. I don't remember why did I start saying that, but it's all about this idea that Roblox is for kids. No, Roblox is not for kids. It is for everyone, but kids love it because it's very kids friendly.
Well, and like I was saying, with the moving to um, Quest and all these downloads that are happening, it's only going to be better for the future of VR in general if it is younger people that are starting to use these headsets, and then as they come forth, if they stay in Roblox, great. But they're going to also be looking for other platforms and where else can I use my headset, and I think it
Can use
becomes
it. You can use it in VR chat. There's gonna be a kid
sure.
explosion in VR chat after Christmas, I guess, or like when they will release their Quest 3. There's gonna be a kid explosion again, like it was in 2021, I think, or 2020.
And it's going to be like, or at least the Quest 3 is. And Josh, you may know more about this. It's like twice the memory, right? It's like 128 gig or something.
Yeah, well, so from what I could tell, it looks like the Quest 3 was kind of like the budget Quest Pro. As far as like specs and everything, it doesn't have, it's going to be missing some of the things like the eye tracking and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. I got to look back into the specs, but basically for the price, like I bought my Quest Pro last year at full price, dude. So for what you're going to be able to
Same,
get a
same.
Quest 3 with day one, I mean, it's going to be impressive. A lot of people are going to be happy with it, I think. It's not like groundbreaking tech, okay? So let's understand that. Like, it's not anything better than the Quest Pro. So if you have one, like me, I don't plan on ordering it, right? I'm not going to buy it because I have a Quest Pro. And I just think it's basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to get everybody who's not going to buy a Quest Pro caught up on a budget. If you still got a Quest 2, here's your entry. And I think it's going to be a good one. Let me say that.
But dude, I just shifted to Valve Index, and I'm the the happiness is just beyond the expression.
My thing is, I hate that. So, I haven't talked about it in a while, but like, the Apple announced their VR headset and it is just way expensive. I'm not saying people aren't going to buy it. Obviously, there'll be plenty of people to buy it. But if I get one, it's going to be secondhand more than likely. Now, with that said, I still think firmly that in this economy, VR gaming or whatever, XR, whatever you want to call it, AR, this is all a luxury item. And so just like watches or video game consoles or anything else, it's basically a video game console on your face. And so if people in this economy would not be able to afford let's say you made a PlayStation and the VR and all that stuff, I still don't think is that much, but not at all, not even close. But let's say, you did PlayStation VR at even half the cost of, Apple Vision Pro. People are like, no, like in this kind of economy, I don't have that kind of money lying around. So I'm just saying this, I know it's not Oculus anymore. Meta is they're doing something great by making great VR tech very accessible to a lot of people in a bad economy. And they've been doing that for a while. So I'll give them that. I love my Quest Pro. I'm sure they'll make it slimmer and more comfortable, the headsets after a while. But for right now, to me, it's the one I would recommend, and it's probably going to last me a while, I'd imagine.
Do you have a headaches from Quest Pro? Because I had the headaches. It's pretty much uncomfortable on your forehead.
Mm-hmm. So at first I did. I will say that you can look back through my tweets because I don't delete anything. You can look back through my original tweets, and I was complaining about how uncomfortable it was and how it did hurt my forehead. And originally, it was because I was wearing it wrong. I had to understand that this thing, it doesn't fit like the Quest 2 and it's not meant to. It's more like a visor. And the other thing I noticed was that when I wore the side little light blockers, that's really what caused my headaches because it was pressing against my temple. So when I don't wear those, and if I wear that forehead piece, like it's got to be kind of, if you look at my profile picture, it shows where it's at. Like it's way up on my forehead, like on top of my head almost. So don't put that like on the like face of your forehead and it gets clamped down against your forehead. You don't want that. Basically, this thing sits on your head. It's not meant to do a lot of like it's not great for moving your head around real fast like the Quest 2 is when it's like kind of strapped to your face. And that's where I think the Quest 3 is going to come in and be a little bit more for the people who move around, want to play Beat Saber and that kind of stuff. It's going to be better than the Quest Pro, in my opinion, for that. Because the Quest Pro, honest to God, it's really more like it feels more like an enterprise visor than a gaming headset, if that makes any sense.
Well, it does make sense and it was designed this way, I believe. There's a lot of people
Yeah.
try to use it for using like virtual screens, like unlimited virtual screens of unlimited size. But the fact is, I've tried to do that, and the resolution there really put me off. And I'm like, no, I don't want to look at this resolution and like destroy my eyes. Well, anyways, it's too late for me because I just shifted into full body tracking VR, and yeah, I'm super happy about that. That feels like a lot. That feels like a big step forward for me in VR gaming or
I
in
wanted to
VR
try that out.
socializing.
I got this working. I didn't make a big post about it because I wasn't ready. I didn't have it all set up, and then I got too busy to finish it. But I found a project from a girl that I think she goes by Tatiana VR or something like that. Maybe I don't know. It was one of them VR gamer influences I follow. But they showed where for free. Well, if you have enough iPhones anyway, but you can run it on like old iPhones and it does body tracking from the phone. So you can do like two or three phones around you or whatever. And you don't need any special like leg hookups or anything. And it's pretty good. And it works with like VR chat and other apps that are compatible with full body tracking. But if you have like three or four old, or even one, just old iPhones lying around or whatever, you can install this stuff on it, and it can do pretty decent body tracking on a budget. Not gonna lie, so I can. Anybody that wants that stuff, just message me. I can kind of show you where those videos are. It's pretty easy to set up.
So it just uses the gyrometer or whatever. I wonder if we can make like an IoT
No, no, no,
gyrometer.
no, no, no. It's not like you don't have to hook the phone up to you. Basically, what you do, you know how like the old Rift, or not, I'm sorry, the Index, you had to have like the trackers, so it would know where you are and where your controllers are and all. They were external. And then when the Quest came out, they made all that internal, so you didn't have to set all that up. Um, so that's kind of what these phones do. You set them up in your room, point like with the camera pointed towards you, and then it tracks your body, and you have to there's it all you have to run basically like some kind of software on your computer that tracks all these things, and your phone acts as a sensor, if that makes any sense. And then that all that information is fed then through the software to the application that you're using to tell it, here's where your legs are and all that. And it's free. You don't have to buy it or anything. It's like a open source software, and you can run it on pretty much any old iPhone.
Wow, I didn't know such thing existed. But I'm not sure if I have
You
like two or three iPhones lying around, to be
No, you
honest.
probably are doing better off with what you have. Don't try to do this. This was for me. This is ghetto. I was just trying to save some money, but it was kind of jank. So, I mean, you're probably doing it better than I was for
Well,
sure.
I'm definitely super happy. It feels like another level for me when I actually move and my avatar does everything I do. And yeah, it feels like it feels very different. I was thinking like a while ago, like it could be cool if every platform would give us opportunity to do something like this, because for now, so far as I know, it's only VR chat where you can actually transfer your body movement into. Others just don't support that.
So
Yeah, it's
Second
different
Life,
on some platforms.
they used to have a modified viewer, and Rafi, you correct me if I'm wrong, but even Second Life themselves came out with a full VR experience. Have you heard of anything going further with what they're doing in that area, or?
No, I just see this preview in Facebook page of a guy, but I never see Linden Lab talking about that. If they are planning making something like this or just planning put the Second Life on VR. I don't. I'm not sure about it.
Hi, Cece, how you doing? We have a little bit time left because we're going to be wrapping up early. So, what's up? Let's catch up.
Hello, hello, lovies. Great conversation. I really learned a lot today and just slowly building my back end dev knowledge, just so I can speak more intelligently about the world that we all love and live in. I had a quick question. Maybe you can, I guess, put my brain in the right place. I got to experience a world that I think is still in beta. It's called Yabal. And the performances in Yabal, they used the Ready Player Me avatars, but the performers were in these full body suits in a studio. And the reaction, they performed, you could see side by side the performers and then the avatar doing everything from head to foot, short of an eye twitch kind of. Well, you couldn't see the eyes, but you know what I mean. You understand the point. And I'm wondering, is that the technology that you guys are currently talking about, or is this more more than that?
Do they have did they have a mocap suits on them, or what did they have as
yeah, they
as
had
equipment?
suits. They had full on, it looked like they were going to go diving in the ocean, kind of like neoprene suits on them, and then the headsets. I mean, it
No,
was like a
that's
full situation.
what we're talking about is way simpler. It's literally available. I mean,
Okay.
mocap suit. The price is for a good one is $10,000 to $15,000. I think maybe less. I'm not sure.
So
Maybe
peanuts, no
5
big
to
deal.
15,
Anybody can have
something
one.
like this. Yes, anybody can have them. Yeah, anybody can have them. We don't. Yeah, we don't have this kind of budget for now, and we use a way simpler tech, which is Vive trackers. Is little devices you can strap on certain parts of your body. Like I strap them on my feet and on my waist, so it
Okay.
tracks my body movements pretty accurately with those positioning. Some people they put it also on elbows, but I don't see the necessity of it, because if your avatar is well rigged with inverse kinematics and stuff, you actually your avatar will behave almost. I mean, I'd say it's real. I wouldn't say almost. I think it's real. It's real body movement, which you can transfer into VR, and it's not expensive. I'd say it's $100 per tracker, something like this. But you gotta have
Much more reasonable price.
yeah,
Oh,
I
I
think
love
you gotta
that.
have something like Vive headset or Valve Index headset, and it's all links up to Steam. So that's how it works with
Awesome.
Steam VR.
And I want to explore VR chat a little bit more. I think Make and I are going to jump in hopefully this week and take a deeper dive. And then there's another term that I heard when I was exploring another metaverse, but this was a mobile one, strictly on mobile. And it was something to do with spring joints, or it had to do with rigging in order to make the avatar react almost more real, and they called it spring joint or spring reaction or something like that. Are you
I think
familiar?
it's same as inverse kinematics. It's
Oh, okay.
how
Same.
it's depending if you have like two like pulling points on your leg support and you don't have it on your knee. The inverse kinematics make sure that your knee bends in the right direction, you know, still, though you don't
All
have a
right.
pulling point over there.
Thank you for taking my nerdy noob questions. I really appreciate the time. You guys are so great. I really am trying to learn, but this stuff is so foreign to me. You guys are so natural at it. But yeah, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
thanks for coming up, Sissy. You're always welcome to talk here. And anything new you discovered in Roblox?
Nothing new except for some new games. So my son is starting to try to build games. And so we're going through the tutorials, and I am way out of my depth. That's all I can say.
It takes time, but it's worth it, as usual. Learning a skill is always worth it. Well, Josh, should we wrap it up or we have some more time?
Yeah, unfortunately, we should wrap up tonight. I'd love to keep going, but you know, we want to thank everybody for coming out, and you know, if there's if there's some topics like you know like CC coming up and asking, you know, we'd love to hear about those as well. Maybe we can do some sort of an AMA for people that may be needing some specific help building. You know, we could offer that as opposed to kind of a live stream where it's kind of difficult to do that. So we're definitely open to any options and possibilities as far as that. But you know, we'll get started again next week and have a great topic for you.
Yeah, today was more like of a relaxed space because we only had 1 hour. We have a meeting after that, so 1 hour has passed very fast, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wish it could be longer. Sorry, guys.
This has been really fun. I love listening to you guys talk.
Well, and I appreciate you coming up. You know, CC, especially you know like last week. You know, you don't have to be a builder. You know, for you to provide valuable input and provide valuable insight into what we should be building. So it's
Well,
equally important.
in fact, users and players and somebody who utilizes our builds
For
and
real.
our ideas are the people whom we should listen to. And we love the situation where we can actually get those inputs. I mean, this is the most valuable when you can get feedback from the people who go to your spaces or go to platforms and they have something to say. This is the way to learn. That's what I believe 100%.
No, I totally agree, and you know we should figure out things to foster that more. You know, we created this space to kind of try and fill the gaps. So you know wherever those gaps are, we want to try and figure those out and help people. So, all right, guys. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up for tonight. Thank you for everybody for coming out, and we'll do this again next week. Thanks.
Bye 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 bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.